Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be telling you about 8 things that people with anxiety do that may come off as rude. This is something I've struggled with a lot, is people assuming that I'm rude when I'm really just having issues with my anxiety. So I wanted to share some of the things that people with anxiety do that you might think are rude, but really don't take it personally. It's not really about you. And I'll tell you which of these I do. I'm pretty sure most of them. Sorry. Okay, number 1, I don't do this one too often because it's actually a pet peeve of mine in general, but number 1 is canceling plans. So a lot of times they'll agree to the plan and then cancel last minute, or they'll just not want to do it at all to begin with. That's what I do. I don't like to make promises I can't keep. So in these cases, a lot of times it's right before the event is going to take place. They might feel a sudden bout of anxiety, especially if their thing is social anxiety. Personally, I don't really have social anxiety as much, which is why I don't do this myself, but I do have a little bit of it. So I totally get why some people do it. And it often is stuff that they are truly interested in doing. It's just at the last minute, their anxiety is not letting them do it. Number 2, not responding to phone calls or text messages. Personally, I hate talking on the phone. It is something that causes me a lot of anxiety, so I will put off calling someone back because I just don't want to talk on the phone. Is it something I can explain? Not really. Anyone in the comments, if you have anxiety with the phone and you're good at explaining why, I'd love to hear it. Also, texting someone back, depending on the subject, depending on the person, sometimes it's like, I just don't feel like having this conversation with you right now, and I'm worried about what your reply to my reply will be, so I'm just going to put it aside for the moment and I'll get back to you later. And then sometimes I forget about it altogether. So to people out there that I have not responded to, I am sorry. Just send me another text. If you catch me on a good day, I will respond. It just depends. I'm not purposely ignoring you, and people with anxiety are not purposely ignoring you. They're just having a bit of an internal crisis. Number 3, and this one's a biggie for me, and that is a lack of eye contact. When anxiety becomes overbearing, even when it's not, having a conversation with someone or just listening to someone, making eye contact with someone is really nerve-wracking for some reason. You feel like the person looking into your eyes can see what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. They can see how scared you are and vulnerable you are, and you don't really want to let people see how vulnerable you are. So when someone who has anxiety, or even if you don't know if they have anxiety or not, but when someone seems to be avoiding eye contact, but otherwise are conversing with you and being polite, don't judge them and think that they are rude because of it. It might just be an anxiety thing, because again, this is something that's really hard to explain. Even as a person with anxiety myself, I don't know why. It just, you feel really vulnerable when making direct eye contact with someone. Number 4, distancing themselves from others. Sometimes when a person is having really bad times with their anxiety or other mental illnesses as well, they kind of want to distance themselves from other people. They feel the need to focus on themselves and try and get themselves back into a better state of mind, because they know that they're not going to be fun to be around in their current state. So they don't want to waste the time and the energy on putting on a show for you when they can be working on improving themselves and getting themselves better, if that makes sense. And they also just don't want to put you through spending time with them when they're going to be not at their best. Number 5, asking you to repeat yourself. So it's not that someone with anxiety is not listening to you, they are. But intrusive thoughts are a common thing, and constant worry is also very common. So while they're listening to you, it's possible you've said something that made them think of something else that they have to think about or worry about, or they just had a thought pop into their head while you were talking. And it's hard to focus on both things, and it's hard to shut that anxious thought away and really focus on the task at hand and on the person who's talking. So they might say, I heard you, I think, can you please repeat that? It's kind of like a brain fog. And really, when I do it, it's because I do truly want to know what you were saying. I truly want to hear what you were saying, but sometimes this comes in, I try and shove it away, and then I need you to repeat yourself so that I can really take in what you're saying. So we're not listening to you, and I know it's really annoying, and I'm sorry. Number 6, getting really agitated. Now, this one definitely comes off as rude, and it's one of my least favorite side effects or symptoms or whatever of a mental illness. But being a person with anxiety, sometimes when I'm in a really bad place with my anxiety, I feel like I'm on the edge all the time. And when you're living on the edge and you're, well, not on the edge, you just feel on edge. And when you feel on edge all the time, it's very easy for something to kind of set you off. And you can get a little snappy. I know I do. And things that normally I could blow over will annoy me, and I'll just be like, why? And again, it's really hard to, all of these are hard to explain, guys, but seriously, it's hard to be in the state of panic, on edge all the time, and then like little things kind of change and people annoy you. So you can get a little snappy. Sometimes you'll say something and you'll just have a harsher tone than you meant to, and that's sort of just your automatic response when you're just in that state of mind where you're on edge. Next on the list is not engaging in conversation. I'm really bad for this one. When I'm in a group setting and there's multiple people talking, I sometimes find it hard to jump into the conversation because being anxious, you worry about what people are thinking of you a lot. And one of the things that can happen with that is worrying about interrupting someone and worrying that you might be changing the subject abruptly and people might not be happy about it. You worry about saying the wrong thing. So it's easier for you to just sit back and listen to the conversation, if that makes sense. People with anxiety aren't trying to stay out of the conversation. They're not wanting to talk to you. They just feel a lot more comfortable when they're addressed directly to then be able to speak. Now, I know this can be annoying. I did actually have a friend in high school who would sometimes say, well, no one talks to me, that's why I don't talk. And I even used to say, we all love you, just jump in, man. But as my anxiety got progressively worse, I really understood where she was coming from. And it is hard, and I understand that. And I know that even though my friends are fine with me and they love me and I can just jump into a conversation anytime I want, I still just have this anxiety holding me back, like, what if I annoy them? So I hold a lot of things in during group conversations, especially when I'm with people I'm not super comfortable with. Personally, I do this more with people I'm not super comfortable with. With my group of friends, I'm a lot better. But yeah, I just feel I need to wait until I am given the opportunity to talk. And the last one on the list is kind of the flip side of the last point, and that is talking too much or interrupting. And actually, I kind of also do this. It's weird and seems a little hypocritical and contradictory. Contradictory, that's the word I'm going for here. It seems really contradictory because, yeah, on one hand, I don't want to talk, I don't want to jump in, I'm too nervous. But then the thing is, when you get the opportunity given to you to talk, you feel like I gotta say everything in my mind because I don't know how long this is gonna last, sort of thing. So once you give the opportunity to someone who is anxious to talk and they feel comfortable being able to talk, they might talk a little more than is necessary because they just had a lot of stuff built up that they wanted to say. Another thing too is awkward silences. Ugh, I hate those. And someone with anxiety will hate them so much more than other people. But I'm pretty sure everyone hates an awkward silence. Like, am I right? So with awkward silences, when they happen, someone with anxiety might think, I gotta say something and end this because this needs to end right now. And they might just blurt out anything that either doesn't make sense or maybe has nothing to do with the conversation that was happening. And they just need the awkwardness to end. So that is another case where you might think you need to chill and calm down. They're not trying to be rude, they're just trying to end some awkwardness that they are feeling and experiencing. So that is my list of 8 things that anxious people do that might come off as rude. So if you are ever talking with someone who is doing any of these things, don't immediately dismiss them as a rude person. Consider the fact that they might have some anxiety issues. They might have other issues that are causing them to behave in a way that you don't really like. And depending on how close you are, maybe talk to them about it. Say, you know, I feel like when we're talking in conversations, you don't really participate, and I would love it if you talked more. Or say, I notice you don't make eye contact with me. Like, are you not comfortable with it? Stuff like that. Don't be accusatory. Don't put them on the spot in front of others. But if you do feel that, you know, someone is being rude by doing these things, try and give them the benefit of the doubt. If someone's being outright rude and saying ridiculously horrible things, then sure. But until they do something above and beyond these 8 things, and there's few other things I'm sure that that anxious people do that seem rude, but until they go above and beyond to a point where it's like they're definitely rude, don't just write them off as rude. Anyway, that has been my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Some people can't. Oh my god.
Hey, you too.
These cats.